Hello YouTube, and welcome to my box review of the P-51D Mustang by Italeri in 72 scale, and it's serial number 6807. It's called the Special Italia model, and as you can see, it's the classic P-51D Mustang. I got this kit for a couple of reasons. Firstly, because I'm just a classic middle-aged guy who's getting back into the hobby after 30 years of having kids and family and moving away, and then being inspired again at a later age to revisit my childhood, I guess, my youth, and start the hobby again. So I looked around for a while, thought about what sort of kit I would like to build, and decided for my first kit that I would look at the classic Mustang aeroplane. A couple of reasons really. First, because it was incredibly cheap, and I'm talking this kit cost me 10 New Zealand dollars. That's about £5 in the UK, or about $6 American. So yeah, very, very cheap kit. But because of that, you'll probably expect that there'll be some corners cut. So we'll have a look at that as we open it up and have a look to see what's inside. And secondly, I got it because living here in New Zealand, I decided that I wanted to try as much as possible to build kits that related to New Zealand in some way. And the P-51D Mustang was in service with the Royal New Zealand Air Force from 1945 through till the 70s. So this is a kit that has some New Zealand connections, although I'm not going to build the New Zealand variant. This is, as it says on the box, the Special Italia variant, not surprisingly given that it is from Italeri, an Italian company. And as we can see on the back here, the P-51D Mustang is in the Roma Italiana 2nd Regiment. So that's the kit that I will be building. So let's have a look and see what we've got in the box. As I said, very cheap box. On the side there, it's all in Italian, so I don't speak Italian, so I'm not entirely sure what it all says, but it's fairly self-explanatory probably. Just a little guide to what the plane looks like on the side there, the front, lovely cover art. On the other side there are a couple of other models, helicopter models from Italeri that you can purchase. Ends, there's nothing much happening on the ends, and the back of the box has the breakdown of the colour scheme that you can use and where all the decals go. So yeah, pretty simplistic boxing. So let's get into it and see what we've got inside. So inside there are a couple of main sprues and an instruction manual, some decals, very nice, again Italian service decals, the cockpit, clear plastic cockpit sprues, a couple of those, plus the front cockpit, and we have the instructions. So just have a look at the instructions to start off with. Again, all in Italian, can't read it, don't know what they say. I suppose I could do a Google Translate or something like that, but and these Mustang kits were bought out in several variants by Italeri, so I'm sure I could find some English versions of the instructions online if I really wanted to. But again, as I said, fairly self-explanatory. Gives you the breakdown of the sprues on the first page and some colours with the Model Master paint system, some guides, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps to make this model. So nothing too difficult, and considering that this is my first model back after literally a 30-year absence from building models, and when I built them when I was younger. In my teens and early 20s, to be honest, I didn't do a particularly good job, so I'm hoping that I'm a little older and a little wiser and can take my time. Watched a lot of online tutorials over the last 6 months, and I'm hoping that I can make a better go of this, although this is my first model, so I'm not expecting a masterpiece, but we shall try, we shall see. But it all looks pretty straightforward, starting with the cockpit, the wings, placing them on the body, the main structure, the wheels, everything back on, the bombs. You have a couple of options with the drop tanks or the couple of different bomb variants. The cockpit on, the glass cockpit clear canopy and the propeller, and then you're kind of all done. So yeah, not much to it, which is probably just as well for my first model. Let's have a look now at the sprues. The first sprue, lovely detailing on the undercarriage, underside of the wings, the wing tops of the wings. Excuse me again, I'm not particularly up with all the lingo for the aeroplane parts. I used to do tanks actually, way back when I was a lad, so aeroplanes are not really my forte, but I thought I'd start with an aeroplane for a couple of reasons. Firstly, because I got the kit so cheap, and secondly, because the painting and the weathering and all the stuff that's involved with armour modelling seemed like something that I would probably have to work up to. So I guess I chose aircraft because it seemed to be a little less challenging, but I may come to rue those words. But anyway, the cockpit interior, pretty basic. The seat itself, some fairly nice detailing on the seat. We've got some seatbelt definition, and we've got some definition on instrument panel there. There are no decals for the instrument panel, so it'll have to be painted on, which will be interesting to see how I go with that, to say the least. 72 scale, the pieces are rather tiny. I think maybe my eyes aren't also what they used to be in my 50s, so I might have to actually look at going upscale and doing 48th or 32nd scale rather than 72nd scale, but we'll see. For my first model, that should be fine. So yeah, some nice detail in the cockpit area, although pretty basic. And then for the second sprue, the main body of the aircraft, the tanks, the bombs, the guns, yeah, that also looks nicely detailed. Not a lot of flash that I can see. In fact, there's almost no flash that I can see, which is good. There's a little bit around the gun ports there, but looking inside the aircraft itself, unfortunately there's no definition scribed into the panels for the interior, but as I said, for my first build, never mind. Basically I'll just try and put it together as nicely as I can and work up from there. So yeah, a couple of sprues, nicely moulded, some nice detail, cockpit sprues, the decals, and that's really what you get in the box. It came exactly like that. There was no plastic wrap, so they were just let loose in the box, which I guess is a little unfortunate, but everything has stayed together, so that's a bonus. And if we pop that back in there we go. That's just a very quick look at the P-51D Italeri 72nd scale special Italia edition, serial number 6807. And so yeah, that'll be my first model build, so look forward to that. I'll take my time with it. It won't be up next week or anything like that. I'll probably build it over a couple of months as I get all my gear together and start buying all the stuff that I need for the hobby. But yeah, that will be my first build. So thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful for someone who is looking at getting this kit. I couldn't find anything else online about a breakdown of this kit or a review. So there it is. I hope that was helpful, and I'll catch you next time.